Marantz probably is one of those brands with polarized views. Some audiophiles may recollect high-end preamp Marantz 7 throughout the 60s and 70s, while many others consider Marantz as a consumer hi-fi brand, making many entry-level hi-fi components. That's mostly because Marantz has been undertaken a number of times. Recently, Marantz and Denon joined the Sound United group, along with Pork Audio and Boston Acoustics, which in fact is like a homecoming for Marantz after decades of foreign ownership outside the States, where Marantz originates. My most friendly memories of Marantz is Marantz products of the 90s when Marantz was under Philips, such as top of the range CD player CD10. Um, CD63 was very popular budget CD player at the time. pm-17 integrated amp was visually impressive with slim housing. I honestly think Marantz has gone backward in terms of cosmetics. I never was a fan of three-section front grille and hideous twin blue lights, which I don't see the point in anyway. Sadly, as you can see, this pm-10 still has them. But it is not all that bad. I mean, it looks better than its predecessor pm-11, which lasted about a decade with 3-4 generation changes. Marantz finally has got rid of 8 buttons, which makes pm-10 with more high-end appeal. Hideous blue lights and the center LED can be turned off, which is also beneficial for sonic purity. I'll show you. This pm-10 may look pretty uninteresting, but it looks much better in real because its build quality is impeccable. pm-10 is way above Mark Levinson's 5805 and even better than Yamaha's AS3000 when it comes to build quality. Unlike Mark Levinson 5805, which applied aluminum panel on the front only, pm-10 is made of almost full thick aluminum panels. You can probably find out the thickness of the panel with pictures I attach. There is no screw hole on both top and side panels. Yamaha AS3000 has good build quality, but not at this level. I still prefer Yamaha's retro look. pm-10 is quite a heavy amplifier. It weighs little more than 21k, but not as heavy as Mark Levinson at 5805. Here's correction, 5805 does not weigh over 30k. Its spec sheet states 5805 weighs 28k. It felt way over 30k though. I should have checked the spec sheet. pm-10 stays quite cool unlike 5805, thanks to application of Class D on the power amp section. There is toroidal transformer inside the unit, but it is for the preamp section, I presume. Marantz has introduced Class D in the entry-level amp, HD Amp 1 previously. I guess pm-10 is an indicator that Marantz is shifting to Class D. pm-10's remote resembles huge Sony TV remote in its heydays. It looks very busy like many other audio remote with universal function. I prefer simpler layouts when it comes to remote, and for that reason, I guess it's not my thing. I got to admit, the build quality of the unit is pretty okay. Okay, the sound. pm-10 has a typical Marantz sound, which you can find in most, if not all, Marantz products. So what is typical Marantz sound? I guess I can state typical sound of Marantz as warm, not too sharp, and hardly ever coarse. There are some exceptions in this case, by the way, and has reasonable detail. On the other hand, Marantz is never known for most agile, adventurous, super fast, or specifically tailored sound. I mean, they are more like reasonable sedan than sport car. This pm-10 inherits the typical sound of Marantz in the most reasonable way. It's arguably the best Marantz amplifier, integrated amplifier I ever tested. Well, you can tell it is Marantz amp when you hear it. And I guess Marantz has successfully kept their sonic signature, just making it better. Yamaha, on the other hand, took different approach. Many believe Yamaha may sound like their AV products, but that is not the case. In fact, Yamaha two-channel audio products sound cold, lean, unobtrusive, and almost synthetically neutral. Yamaha kept such sonic signature up to AS2100, but changed them altogether in their flagship AS3000. AS3000 is fairly aggressive and agile. I'd say AS3000 is more fun, especially in the pm section, while pm-10 is more refined. Both pm-10 and AS3000 has its limits, as with most integrated amps. The preamp section is rather disappointing. Such shortcoming would be greater for audiophiles who have used or using separates. Mark Levinson 5805 has great preamp. I guess it is almost obvious, considering the fact that preamp is Mark Levinson's absolute forte, and I suspect that is why Mark Levinson won't allow users to use 5805 with other external preamps. Unlike pm-10, AS3000, and many other premium integrated amps, which allow users to utilize them as either preamp or power amp. I would not recommend this amplifier for audiophiles in the States. Retail price wise, pm-10 is not much cheaper than Mark Levinson 5805, like $500. Further, pm-10 has no internal DAC, so you need to get a separate DAC if you don't have one. Internal DAC of 5805 may not be the best DAC you can get, but it sounds better than most DACs costing $500, plus 5805 has better preamp. However, the price gap between these two amps may not be $500 elsewhere, since price of many Harman products went up elsewhere. 5805 costs much more than pm-10 in the place I live, for instance. I would then recommend pm-10 under such circumstance because pm-10 is more flexible and you can get a decent DAC, perhaps better than 5805's internal DAC with the same money. But then again, money may not be the only decider. You have to like the sound of it to buy it, I guess. I'll be back with forecast content number 1, step mount speaker. Thanks for watching and see you soon.